it might be like either a training thing, or maybe it's like, maybe it's just a show of all their things around town, you know.
So many of them. Here's the army.
Whoa, what the hell?
What's happening in Kilkenny?
What's going on?
The aliens have landed.
Oh, there goes the motorbikes. Man, the Gardaí motorbikes are so cool. Man, that thing just hums along.
Genie Mac.
They're so big.
Yeah. That's you never see the army in Ireland, like.
Yeah, they're really kind of like, the only time you see them is when it's like, we're flooding, and they're out filling sandbags.
But they were armed with
there's Royal
M2.
Or the lifeboat service.
Must be a parade.
It has to be, yeah.
But for what? 2nd of September.
I don't know.
Civil defence.
Civil defence is out as well.
That's some heap of a machine.
They're so goofy looking, some of them. What the f*** is this thing?
Thank God we're going that way.
I know, yeah, we'd be stuck behind them all.
Okay, surely the fire brigade is the end of it.
Not as many fire brigade units. Like, where's the little, small
squad
chief
car,
ones?
like,
yeah, usually there's a few of them. Yeah, that looks like all of them.
Yeah.
Well, that was fun. That was very unexpected.
Yeah, wacky.
Huh? Ah, cheers.
See?
I finally got it.
Yeah. Now, Marty, tell us about your throttle.
Oh god, yeah. So I bought this bike, a year and a bit ago, and it was grand. Got on it, I was like, oh yeah, it's very powerful, very spooky, perfect for a test. It's 53 kilowatts or 60 kilowatts, whatever it is. I think it's actually probably like 70-ish or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, grand, I have it, now I can pass me test on it. And I remember one day looking up the stats, the specs of it, and you buy a new bike of, sporty kind, you're like, I want to see how fast it goes. Yeah. And I got it up to about 166, and that was struggling. She was really like, at what I felt top speed. And then I look it up, and apparently this bike has a max speed of about 210 or more in like great conditions. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. It should be much quicker than that. Yeah. And I remember looking to see if there was like, what does a restrictor look like? And a lot of them were like, oh, it's an ECU flash, or it's a little plug or something like this. So I looked for all that stuff. I couldn't check for an ECU flash, obviously, but I looked for the little plug, and it didn't have one. So I was like, oh, I guess it's not restricted. Then I was looking a bit more into it, and it was like, you can have throttle restrictors. And I was looking for that, and because most of the common ones on this bike, the Er-6N, it's a little screw with like a golden washer around it. And I was looking at that and I couldn't find it, so I'm like, okay, maybe it's not restricted, maybe it's just all in my head, maybe, I don't know, maybe the stats are lying or something. And then I think me and Brendan were out washing the bikes, and I was fiddling with his throttle, and I was like, holy fuck, your throttle like turns a lot. Like, it goes like a full like 90 degrees or something like this. Yeah. And I was like, my throttle only goes about maybe 45, and I was like, and then that's it. Yeah. So I was like, there has to be something there, or maybe that's how far the bike goes. And I looked at stuff online, and people were definitely getting it up to like 200 kilometers an hour and faster. I think the fastest guy I saw got up to like 220-ish, and I was like, me. So I gave a nose, and I spotted a bracket, not on the right side of the throttle body where like the little screw would be, but on the left side. There's a little L-shaped bracket that was indeed a throttle restrictor, because it didn't look like it was stock. Because stock, this bike is all black. Even like all the metal parts are all black. There's no silver, and this was a silver piece. Yeah. So then I was like, okay, so that's something. I don't think it belongs there. And I started looking up diagrams and stuff like this of like what the throttle looks like to be 100% positive I'm not going to break the bike. And yeah, it's like pictures, like diagrams. They don't have this part or part number. Try googling the part number, couldn't find anything. So then I was like, I think it's restricted. So we went and started taking the bike apart. Tried doing it without taking the tank off first, because it was like, oh, but you know, I've seen people just kind of.
Let's just turn around at the roundabout and go do another loop, if that's all right.
Yeah, no worries. But so we were holding the tank up, and it was obviously full of fuel because I wasn't expecting to do this. So poor Brendan had to muster the strength to carry like about 12 kg of fuel for about half an hour. And we were fucking around, and then it was like, okay, maybe we can't actually get the airbox off, because it uses this like tiny little screw that's like you have to reach through a hole to like slightly unscrew it and then take the airbox off. We eventually managed to get it off. Actually no, I shouldn't say get it off. We gave up partially. But then I was kind of really annoyed, and I was in the mood, so I just said, I'm going for it, and I went for it. Took everything off, took the tank off properly, took off the airbox, got into the throttle body, and then it was like, alright, let's see if we can get to that screw. Couldn't get to the screw still. So then we realised we need to take apart the throttle body slightly, or at least disconnect it from like the manifold, like the main, the intake. Mr. BMW.
The slowest BMW I've ever seen.
Yeah, I'm really shocked at that. But so we were doing that, and then I think Brendan was the one that was like, oh, you don't have to actually like take off that many bits, you just need to take off these clamps that keep it on the engine. Yeah. So we did that, and we took it off. Not fully. We left all the hoses connected, which hopefully are not loose in any way, because I didn't check them. But you know, she's running fine.
You've driven around a good bit since.
Yeah, nothing's flew off. And we were able to turn the throttle body enough to unscrew it. And we go to unscrew it, and whoever put it on originally had eaten the screw a tiny piece. So when we went to take it off, it ended up eating the screw more. So we were almost giving up then. I was like, maybe I can just bend it out of the way or something like that, because I'm not getting this off. And then we ended up going for the other screw, because it was two screws holding it on. And I said, maybe if that one gives, I can just twist it out of the way and just leave it screwed in. And we got that one, thank God, and it was like a sigh of relief. Twisted it, and then it loosened the other screw. Took it off, and then it was like, finally put the whole bike back together. And it was like, great, we can see what it's going to be like. Me and Brendan, we were at this for a few hours. For a celebration, we were like, we'll go to McDonald's. So we hit the road, and I think I was following him first. And then I was like, alright, let's see what she's like at full throttle. Like proper full throttle. And opened her up in, I think, third, and she just climbed and climbed and went flying past 160. And I think she, before hitting the second roundabout, like we'll probably pass it here. On the way back when we go to film the second part of this review. But I hit about 180. Now my speedometer isn't 100% because my back sprocket is like 1 toot smaller. And I have a GPS tracker, SISA, that said I reached about 165. So I was like, oh wow. So she got to that, and you could definitely feel there was still plenty more in it. And I was like, yeah, so this has just unlocked a whole new part of the bike that I'm like terrified of at the minute, because I'm like, I could wheelie it now if I accidentally yank the throttle. And I've seen videos of it, so hopefully that doesn't happen. But I guess it's a word of warning that definitely check your bike. And I bought it from a dealer, and the dealer didn't tell me it was restricted, so...
Say not.
Exactly, say not. But now I mean I'm on the bike, you know, it's grand, whatever. But yeah, word of warning, do a check on your bike over, like, or even ask the dealer if it is restricted, or get them to check it. Because I think I just got a fluid service when I purchased this.
Now, do you want to show us that power and overtake and see what distance we get you to speak to?
You want me to overtake you, do you?
Go.
I'm in pain.
Turns out it's National Services Day. The Army and the Salt Men.
Oh, one. Fucking 2001 I was registered. Bloody